Hey y'all, how's it going? This is Scott Wood with another high five for part-timers. Coming here from Casa de Wood in beautiful Salem, Oregon. Yeah, and getting some really nice weather. Went out to the Multnomah Falls today and just chilling with the family. It's been a great week. Um, I wanted to talk to you today about 5 points about teenage drama. And really just some 5 clarifying points or talking about the role of a youth pastor or youth worker. Um, so let's start with number one. As a youth pastor, I'm not going to be able to go back through these. As a youth pastor, you're not going to be able to individually counsel every child there. If you look at Jesus' ministry, he had 12 people that he dealt with on a regular basis, but really he only had 2 or 3 that were with him all the time that he could counsel. And really that's the youth ministry model that we need to be going towards. As we're talking more about discipleship, we need to understand that we can't effectively reach out to 10, 20, 50, 100. We can teach, but we can't disciple that many. We can disciple 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, maybe. So my first point here would be that as the youth pastor, you're not the main counselor. Okay, a counselor, you're not the main youth worker. Okay, so your job is to facilitate. Okay, that's something we've talked about here before. Facilitation is key to your job. Okay, so 1, you're the facilitator. 2, your youth leaders then become the main youth workers. Okay, they are the feet on the ground. If you want to use a military type thing, you are a general in the war room. They're the feet on the ground. Okay, and they're going to go and they're going to have an effect on the kids. And so like your youth workers would be like the feet on the ground, like the captains and the drill sergeants and stuff like that. Okay, I'm working with the metaphor as we go. So your youth workers need to know how to minister to your kids. And they need to know how to train youth leaders. They need to know how to counsel kids, key things to look for, things like that. We're actually getting ready to do a training session here in late August, early September. I haven't nailed that date down yet. Where I'm actually going to bring a counselor in that works with my family and one of my kids, or 2 of my kids now, I guess. And he's going to talk to us about like autism spectrum and different ways to talk to those kids, and concrete versus abstract and those types of things, because I'm seeing that more and more in our ministry here in Salem. I'm seeing more and more of those kids, even kids that aren't necessarily medicated or going through any type of special ed or whatever. They seem to have a lot of these types of things where it's getting harder for them to grasp abstract versus concrete, things like that. So you really want to train your youth leaders well in this. So 1, you're a facilitator. 2, your youth workers are your boots on the ground. And number 3, your youth leader's job is to train up. Now this is your job too, don't get me wrong, but youth leaders really need to be training up, or as they disciple, we're discipling our youth to be disciplers, so to be trainers. Okay, so like if in the military, if all we did was made captains and captains never trained other people to be more captains, then we would just kind of tap out and there'd be no reason for anyone else to join because you could never be a captain. That's not how this works. Your youth will want to get more involved, so that needs to come from you. Absolutely, you need to offer opportunities and things like that, but you also need to treat or train your youth workers on how to train people, on how to disciple folks, and a lot of that comes from just example. Your youth workers will learn how to disciple kids by how you disciple them. So if you say, hey, how's it going, you never talk to them again, then that's pretty much what your youth workers are going to do. If you go out of your way to spend time with them or to text them or to Skype with them or whatever, then that's going to be what they do with their kids. The leaders will learn, or no, what the leaders do in moderation, the followers will do in excess. Doug Biron told me that one. So, just keep that in mind, okay? So you're a facilitator. Youth leaders with boots on the ground. Youth leaders need to learn how to be disciplers. Number 4, I don't know if I'm going to get to 5. I want to spend some time on 4, though. Part of the discipling process with your youth leaders is teaching them, and I just want to expand a little bit more on that training process with your youth leaders, teaching them cues, teaching them the difference between teenage drama and dire situations. And there is a difference. These teenage years, Try to remember back. But these teenage years are very hard, and I gotta tell you, even though the Bible tells us that there's nothing new under the sun, it doesn't mean we're not different. And this time to be a teenager is very different. You can be bullied in various different arenas, and you can do something wrong once, and then the whole world will see it. You can be a YouTube star or YouTube klutz. I mean, you can just all kinds of stuff brought on by technology and other things that just make it kind of confusing. So what we need to be able to do is to give our teenagers avenues to express themselves and to just vent. Sometimes the kids just got to talk, and sometimes that talking will sound destructive, okay? But what we need to understand is facilitators. I'm having a hard time with that one tonight. What we need to understand is facilitators, and what we need to train our youth leaders to be able to do is to be able to understand the difference between a youth venting and a youth threatening. Sometimes kids, they get to that point where, man, I can't take it anymore, or I'm going to blow, or I'm going to do this, or I've been thinking about this, and I'm not going to try to even begin to touch on that on this video, but I do want to encourage you all to, prompt your leaders to train them up in this as much as you can, and also encourage them to get further training, whether they're in college or videos like this, or a book or something like that, just as far as like how to read kids. Something that I've done in the past and I'll probably do again this fall is to teach the difference between active and passive listening, where you can listen to someone or you can track with them, and that's a huge thing, but just being able to understand where they're coming from accurately so you can accurately lead them. And I hope that makes sense. We've had a bunch of teenage drama pop up recently, and there's a real tendency to want to go down the road with those kids. Okay, oh my gosh, so-and-so said this, and you're just on the cart with them going downhill. Oh my gosh, this kid's going to do it. But really what you need to be able to do is you need to be able to stand beside it and to see really what's going on and to be able to go that way, So if a kid is really concerned about another kid because another kid said, hey, I'm thinking about doing this or whatever later on, it's great for them to be able to come to you, but you need to understand the difference between, oh my gosh, this is really serious, and oh my gosh, this kid was just yanking someone's chain or whatever. Which leads me to number 5. I can't remember 1 through 4 to save my life, I'm sorry. This is a really complex topic. But number 5 is crucial. Remember your role. Years and years ago, before The Rock became a movie star, he used to be a wrestler, and he used to say something that was kind of profound. It's like, know your role and shut your mouth, except he'd be like, in wrestler bravado. There you go. But we need to understand that. Let's know our role as youth leaders, as youth workers. We're not really there to be dad or to be mom or to be brother or sister or to be second aunt, cousin, nephew, twice removed, whatever. We're not really there to do that for them. We're there to love them, but to lead them to Christ. So know your role. Know what you're supposed to be doing, and then therefore you understand what you're not supposed to be doing. Know your role, and then outside of your role, shut your mouth. Okay? If so-and-so is just venting about their parents, you don't need to go down that road with them. Shut your mouth about that. If so-and-so is venting about another kid in the youth group, you definitely don't need to go down the road about that. Okay? Lead them back to Christ. That's your job. That's your role. My gosh, I did another 9-minute one. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get these quicker. But please, leave some comments. I'm so glad you guys are tuning in. I hope this is helping you. God bless you all. And, yeah, good night. Bye-bye.